Hey, science teachers, how's it going today? I want to make a quick video for you guys. Instead of me spending hours and hours trying to look at all the data and push that out to the teams, I thought, let me just show you guys how to access the Illuminate data. For our new teachers, this will be very useful for you. And our experienced teachers, maybe you'll find a different way to pull some useful data. So let me share my screen. And then we'll get going. I will be showing science data, but that doesn't mean this can't be used for other subjects. So if other teachers are looking for a video, you can send them this one. When we log into Illuminate, what you want to go to is your view assessments. And then I'm going to show you the easiest way to find the test, because sometimes a lot of tests are shared with you. You got this huge list. Make sure that you're on shared with me. And then I like to click the only show assessments with data. That gets rid of all the other assessments that you don't have any student data for. Typically, that's enough that now I can just look down and here are my science tests. So the teacher that I'm impersonating is chemistry. So we're going to look at the chemistry test. If you're still not finding it, you can type in either your grade level or the name of like physics first or biology or chem, and that'll help simplify the list even more. You want to click on that, and this will take you to your kind of overview page. A lot of data can be accessed through here. If you missed my email, you'll notice that there is an additional color here. They did change the performance bands that we'll be using from now on, since these are unit tests and not like the interims that we used to do. So now they're based off the 90, 80, 70, 60 rule. And so this is what it looks like. Your 70s and up are part of the mastered. And then it looks like the 60 to 70 is also under master. I thought that might be a new change. Okay, so you can pull up some data here. One nice thing is if you click on these, it'll pull up the student list and who fell in that list. I've been encouraging students to try to identify some students from each of these categories to focus on to help improve them into the next one. I'm not going to click on it because I got to blur the names on YouTube, but that can get you some real basic information. You got a few tabs up here at the top that you can kind of scroll through. This will give you a standard performance. Now our test, I do tie all the questions to standards, but it's not like last year where they're like specifically exactly looking at every standard. So maybe not the best for these type of tests, but it is there. It does kind of give you some clues as to, so when I look at this, my mastered is the dark. So, hey, this standard we didn't do as well on. So that might give you some insights into where some focus needs to be turned on to. Bronze frequency, this one is really good for, okay, hey, here's a question that my students just did not get. And if you want to actually see the question, you can just launch it right down here. Just click on the number and it'll show you the question. And then you can start to really break down, okay, what was the issue about this? This question had to do with the electrons and moving of all that stuff. So there's often confusion about you have to take away electrons to make it more positive. So that might be something to cover a little bit deeper. And then you can also look at, hey, where was I successful? And so that's a really good breakdown right there. Matrix, when you click on this one, it is going to open up a new tab. But this is where you're going to be able to see all of your students, how they did on each question and all of that stuff. So we'll see this page later on. There's a lot of settings here, but when you click on Matrix, all the settings should be correct for you. You can click View on Browser. I always do that first before I download to Excel or a PDF, just to make sure. And I will be blurring out the student names over on YouTube, but the student names are in that blurred section. And now you can really see, okay, here's the student score and here's how they did on each question. I can look, here's question 7. It's very easy. I can see this was a struggle question. And so that might be really good data to get into each of your individual students. You can put that into Excel and really break that down a lot further. So remember that open a new tab. So let's jump back. And now the achievement gaps. This is going to give you a breakdown of different races or English learners, those sorts of data that might be useful. Sometimes it's like, hey, I only have one student in this category. It's kind of hard to say like that there's much going on there, but You might have some mix of student data, and this might be revealing to some aspects of your student population that are performing better or worse. Finally, the reports page. When you click here, there's a lot of good stuff here. Stick right here where it says, where do I start for teachers? Teacher assessment overview. I'll show you this one. This one's a really good one for just like where are my bands at. Here's my boom, pretty looking data. Student responses. This will be similar to the matrix, but different than the matrix is it kind of gives like a bar line. So you can actually see just how close students were to going from one level to the next. And that might be some useful information. I won't open that just so I don't have to blur more names again. Teacher comparison. This is good if you just want to compare yourself to the school. You won't be able to pull up any of your colleagues' data, but if you have a coach or admin at your building that wants to pull, they would have access to each individual teacher, but you only have access to you. So you can look at that, and it does compare your schools or your results to your school if there's multiple people teaching that subject. Pivot table, I'll pull this one up too. This is really good if you did the pre-test, or if you're comparing from one quarter to the next quarter, how did your students grow? We'll look at that. These two reports, the response and the matrix report, those were up here. So these we've already looked at. They were just in these tabs. Let's start with the teacher assessment overview. I'll jump over to the pivot table and then we'll close this out. Again, it's pretty much has all the settings for you done. Sometimes I'll show you on the pivot table some of the settings we got to change. But this is like, boom, here's my simple breakdown. Now this only shows you the first page by default. So if you click show all, then I can scroll down and kind of get more of the data. So that's kind of just your overall look at things. I'm just going to go ahead and click back to get to my reports page. And then the other one that I really like, this is only if you did the pre-test. So this teacher I'm impersonating did the pre-test. The settings that you do need to change on this one. So right now it's like, what's your pre-test, what's your post-test? And right now they're the same. So it's not going to show any growth. So click on this. Start typing in the name of the test. So I do 10_chem, and that's going to pull up all my chemistry tests. I can find the pre-test for quarter one. And now I've got the correct pre-post test. If you did the pre-post test, and again, those are optional. Don't have to do those. I just had teacher ask me for it, so I made it available. This top data, it's not as useful for me, but I really like looking at this data down here, where you can see here was your pre-test scores, here's your post-test scores, and here's the change in those. So you see we dropped 60% of students out of the below basic, and they kind of spread out across those increased. And so it's really good to see where are my decreases happening, how much did I increase in specific areas. So I love the pivot table. It's very awesome. All right. I don't want the video to be too long, so I think that's just about all I wanted to show you guys. If you guys have any questions or want any help, call me in. I'll happily do a data meeting with you and break that all down for you. All right. You guys take care, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.